Hello, welcome to our webinar today. This is Jenny Hellrum with the ASQ Statistics Division, and we have a talk today on Quality 4.0 transformation. We have a great speaker with us today. Mike is an experienced quality professional and university professor with numerous accomplishments in the quality field. He is also an ASQ Fellow, a Regional Deputy Director for Canada and Greenland, the chair of the ASQ Statistics Division Data Science Interest Group, and a bunch of other certifications and stuff. I'm not even going to try to read those off. So well qualified to speak for us today. So with that, let me give you a couple of housekeeping items. The presentation is going to be recorded and posted on our YouTube channel later. I'll put the link for that in the chat. Also, you will be getting an email from me or one of my colleagues with the RUs for this webinar, and we'll probably include the presentation slides. Everybody usually asks for those. And you can contact me if you don't get that. I'll put my email in the chat here too. And then we'll hold all questions till the end, but whenever you come up with a question, put them in the chat and we'll read them off and ask the presenter at the end of his talk. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Mike.
Hey, Jen, thanks for a kind introduction. Everybody, good afternoon and welcome to ASQ Statistics Division Quality 4 and Data Science Interest Group webinar. In reality, this is a joint effort based on the work that we're doing within ASQ Statistics Division, but as well kind of what we're doing in Canada, Greenland region related to career building of ASQ professionals, plus some input for ASQ excellence, part of ASQ overall, which were kind of kind enough to share some information of their research related to career management of the quality professionals. So Quality 4 refers to integration of quality management practices with Industry 4 technology to optimize the entire supply chain and improve the bottom line of organization. It's a development that contributes to creation of organization of the future, where digitally enhanced structures and processes lead to increased productivity, flexibility, and agility of organization.
Hey, Mike, you're not sharing your slides.
Yeah, it's just kind of an introduction. I'm just moving to the next one.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So
I apologize.
Just kind of, no, that's fine. So this is me kind of when I was a little bit younger. You have in video kind of my real me. So what we are going to talk today is we're going to talk about the Quality 4 framework. We're going to talk how to understand future opportunities and challenges and how to anticipate the effects of upcoming changes on quality and how affects us. I started my data science journey a long time ago because pretty much everything that we do in quality is based on data. And the reality with the data mining and some new technologies, I started roughly 4 years ago. I was a little bit scared and anxious about those changes. I was close to my retirement and I didn't know should I start a journey. And I'm grateful that there was a group of people which we started our ASQ Data Science Interest Group, where we started to learn that together and move through the journey. And at this point, we run roughly 6 to 8 webinars per year related to data science and quality. So one thing, if your group or your section is interested to get some presenters, by all means, you can reach to me and I will connect you with some potential presenters. I'll share my contact information at the end. So when we start our journey, the hardest thing is where to start, how much to invest, what are solution. And if I look at data science, if I look at quality for industry 4 transformation, it's so huge and you don't know where to start. You're bombarded with a whole bunch of information, different vendors, different solutions. Reality, you have to build your own solution and you start from where your current maturity level is, and then you start to move slowly. It's a hard work, it's a lots of learning. And good thing is that there is a lot of resources within ASQ to provide you support on that journey. One of them is our data science interest group. However, in addition to that, there is so much information, and I'll share some information with you today as well. So let's start. I'll start with the ASQE report, and this is
Hey,
their
Mike,
2000. Yeah,
are you sure you don't have slides you want to share?
again.
Are you sure you don't want to share your slides?
Oh, I apologize. I apologize. I didn't. I thought that, yeah, because I was on the first slide. So let's kind of go back. There was nothing on the slides before. It's really kind of where to start and how much to invest. Thank you, Jen. I apologize. I'll start with ASQE report from 2023, which is related to quality training that organizations are doing. And only 1/3, 30% of 21 to 23 respondents felt that training program comprising needs assessment, provision, and assessment are effectively organized. So that's relatively small number. Only 1/4 feeling the organization is highly effective in relating training with future necessary skills. And even fewer, 23% feel that staff is supported in their development and clear career progression part is highly applicable to their organization. So this is a overall global research that ASQE has conducted.
Hey, Mike,
So yeah,
sorry to interrupt you again, but we're seeing the speaker view, we're not seeing just the slide
it.
itself is kind of small.
Got it. Yep. I'm just going to stop and start again. Just bear with me for the second. Is this better?
Yes, much better. Thanks. I'll try to minimize my interruptions.
No problem. No problem. It's my mistake. We had a dry run and then everything is going in the wrong direction. Anyhow, but I hope that you see this kind of percentages, and this is really kind of something that you should take in consideration. So really kind of you have only 25% of chance that your organization is going to invest in your training. And this is really where opportunities of learning, joint learning and sharing within ASQ comes into play. By the way, this source, 2023 IOAE report, executive summary, is available to all members. If you make a search on my ASQ, you can find detailed report going through the different areas of research that they did. This report is published every year and shows a trend within industry. Another thing is kind of when we look at the technology challenges and digital skills, data analytics as a skill requiring improvement is roughly 30 to 20% across different industry. And this we have a breakdown of different industries, which means that you gain 30% of competitive edge because those are percentage of organization which are going towards the digital transformation. you gain competitive advantage by building your digital skills. And this is easy to say. Question becomes how to do that. And the purpose of this webinar is really kind of to start to help you to build that roadmap. This is a report which you can find on my ASQ regarding IOE excellence benchmarking results. So what is your Pathfinder? Your Pathfinder is no different than any other project that you do. If you're doing Lean Six Sigma project or any improvement project, first one is to define your vision. So you have to define two things. First, what you want, and then what is your need. And there is a difference in people who are doing Lean Six Sigma. They are familiar with the term voice of the customer and critical to quality characteristics. So you have to move from what you want and then establish what are the needs which will bring you there. In order to do that, you need to establish your starting point and then build a gap. So in a Six Sigma, we define problem as a gap between expected performance and our current performance. And based on that, we set up goals and start to build our roadmap. Then we break down that into critical milestones, and then we monitor and adjust. Nothing new, same thing. We are all familiar with this. The only thing is really kind of to overcome fear of unknown and build your network. And we have on the LinkedIn our data science interest group. You can join that group, but as well we have our bi-weekly meetings. Next one is really in upcoming Saturday, where we meet and learn together, and we call that playground. And even if you're unfamiliar with statistics, you don't have to be familiar with statistics to start your journey, because we talk about different elements. Whole digital transformation has so many different aspects, from human side, from technical side, from technology side, from the process side, from the quality management of data that I'll touch base here today as well. So there's so many different things that you can start to learn, and you learn one element by element. People usually ask me, should I take a course? I think that there is a lot of free information which you should spend time to get and create your mental model of the path which you want to take. Because there is something what's happening now in data science and in whole industry 4 transformation. There is a process of democratization. What that means, it's you can use the data mining without any programming. In the past, in order to become data scientist, you had to learn R, Python, Java, different languages, get algorithms, get in the scary stuff like math. Now you have a whole bunch of applications which are drag and drop. And the key is to understand what's the problem that you have and use a tool to create report and then how to apply your learnings. The thing is, in the past, roughly 85% of the data science projects were failure. And the reason why that was happening is, first, the projects were boiled ocean. They were so huge, so big. And what we see now, that the democratization, same thing what's happening with project management, moving from waterfall model to agile, what's happening with the improvement from looking to big projects at the enterprise level versus front-end lean implementation in a smaller chunks and continuous improvement. So the same thing is happening much more rapidly than what was happening with the Lean and Six Sigma. Much more rapidly is happening in data science. However, it's very important that you find the groups either on LinkedIn, through ASQ, or any other, where you're going to learn on a daily basis, and you allocate only 10-15 minutes per day. And that builds habit. And once when you build a habit, that creates a path in your brain, neural path in your brain, and you start to learn. You cannot really learn this just sitting in a class. You have to immerse yourself and get small bites every day. So how it starts with your decision that you want to make a change, that you want to create value for organization, because value of your career depends on how much value you create for your organization. And you have to understand what's your circle of influence, how much change you can introduce. And when you're successful on that small change, you move to bigger circle. And your circle of influence start to grow. And the first step usually is really kind of to understand that you have to start slow in order to go fast. Another thing you have to understand, so that's your personal goal. And then you have to see kind of where your organization is. And although, for example, 85% of companies have a quality management system, most of them are missing benefits or fully implemented quality management system. And I'm talking about quality 3, because all deficiency that your quality system have in a quality 3 is going to propagate to quality 4 and become even bigger. And the number one driver for digitalization is digital maturity, which is competitive advantage, and 58% of executive realize that. Another thing is only 42% of respondents have a formal quality digital transformation plan. And how are you going to create your transformation if you don't have a plan? The remaining 58 have ad hoc or informal plans, making their digital transformation journey more difficult than it needs to be. So regardless, if organizations have a plan, that's great. Then you need to get information what organization is doing, build your network within organization. And the majority of organization that I have been kind of talking to is kind of they have a silo approach where you have IT and then you have quality people and then you have operational people. In reality, our opportunity as a quality professionals are to become that bridge between different departments. And that's our role really in a real life. Question is how well we are doing. But you start slowly to build internal network within organization, and then you build external network, and you do 10-15 minutes every day on internet research about the industry 4, quality 4, digital transformation, and start to build your knowledge. And then you join some groups like our data science group and slowly build that knowledge, because you have to understand that you're not alone on this journey. Another thing, this is a great opportunity because people who are the first implementing digital transformation, they will be the one who will be at front of their organizational transformation change. They will be the one who will have opportunity to receive additional training, and organization is going to invest in you. So that's your responsibility as well as organizational responsibility. So your responsibility is to create value and become visible, become a voice, start to talk, for example, about this ASQ report. You can share, it's available. You can talk about different things that you see there. You can share things which you learn maybe during this webinar, attend other webinars, check what's on the LinkedIn available, and so on. So when we look at that starting point, there are different skills, and this is from a World Economic Forum. 50% of all employees will need reskilling by 2025. So question becomes, how much time you're investing to get new skills? And we usually think kind of, oh, organization is going to send me for the training. Training is just one element. of building your competence, especially digital competence. Another thing, what's happening, there is a curve of forgetting. When you get to the training, whatever you learn, if you don't implement, then you start to lose. Within 2 months, you have almost zero benefits of training unless you continue to reinforce those neural paths. And how you can do that through meeting different groups, to trying small projects. And when we talk about data science, even with Excel, you can do some simple data science projects. They're add-on to Excel, which are expensive, and they're add-on to Excel, which are not expensive, which you can use to do data mining with couple clicks. If you have a Minitab, you can as well kind of use data mining. Minitab has add-on for data mining, and you can use that. It costs a little bit more than a classical Minitab, but it has that option. Another thing is I use a lot of open source. There's tons of open source software which will help you with the data mining and analytical thinking. You can use Power BI, which is free. You can sign for Tableau for business intelligence, which is free. A lot of those software solutions have some free features that can help you to look at the problems that you have. So you have to build your active learning strategies and slowly build your capability for the complex problem solving. Now, when I look, this is your starting point assessment, but as well, that's your path towards the solution. So you have to understand what is the size of the problem that I can solve with the current level of knowledge and tools that I have. And if that's Excel, let it be. You start slowly to, there is a lots of problems that you can solve with Excel. And then there is a Power BI, which is part of Microsoft Office free. And then you start to build your critical thinking, which you as a quality professionals by default have, because the problem solving and thinking and analysis, is it in quality 3 or quality 4, is totally the same. There is no difference. You build your creativity, your leadership and social influence and skills, your emotional intelligence, understanding of tools like a DISC and the different thinking preferences, which help you with the quality 3, with the stakeholder management, your capability. We all, as a quality professional, should be familiar, or if we have a gap, we should develop. And that helps with the traditional quality and the quality 4. If you look with the quality 4, technology is only one element, and the strength of that transformational change is equal to the strength of weakest link. You have people skills, you have transformational skills. So technology is just one of the links in that change. Then you have to look at technology that your organization currently have, as well technology that you have on your laptop. If you look Python and R, they're free. You can get all those libraries, lots of open source software and so on. Another thing which is very important is your resilience, your stress tolerance, your flexibility, your dedication to and a building habit of success and learning. And that all help you with the building strength of your reasoning and problem solving. Now, when we look, this is just a first step. Then second one is start to learn a little bit about the different technologies that are available, and I'll be briefly talking about that. Then you're looking at the data quality, which is ISO 8000, which is same in essence as ISO 9000. So beauty with the ISO standards, if you learn one and you understand how it works, you can very quickly shift to another one. And I'll be talking a little bit about the ISO 8000. And then look your analytical maturity. And most importantly, look at the cost of quality in a digital world. I'm not going to talk about data mining methods today, but if you're interested as well, kind of you can invite me or some other people from data science interest group to talk about the digital transformation and different model, whatever your section or group or division is interested in. So let's quickly go through technology. You have a big data, you have autonomous robots, you have industry Internet of Things, which is pretty much everybody is working there. You have system integration, which means your sensors, your PLCs, your different peripheral things are integrated and linked with your data storage. Then you have cybersecurity, huge area for quality professionals to build because there is a compliance issue with cybersecurity. You have augmented reality. It becomes available. You can buy on Amazon for 300 those glasses, which allow you to kind of see 3D solution. You have 3D modeling, cloud computing. Everybody who has Microsoft Office has their own cloud. And then you have simulation. So if you look all these elements, majority of you are familiar with the elements that I'm talking about. And that's really kind of, you have just to start to dig a little bit deeper and learn a little bit every day about each element. And you can use ChatGPT as a kind of the list meet the industry for technologies. And then you start to look at each of those. And very quickly, you can build your skill set. Now, what's happening in quality 4? In quality 3, we're using structured data. And what structured data is? Data that you can put in a table, in Excel and so on. With quality 4, we are starting to use unstructured data as well. And that unstructured, those are like a video, text, video recordings, different sources of data which you cannot put in a table. And that's 80% of your data, kind of visual inspection, defining emotional state of the people, looking at just video of their facial expression and so on. So when we look at the structured data relate to organized data, now the problem is that many organizations, even in quality 3, don't use the data. So what my first advice, very simply, what you can do, start to look at your processes and what you're doing and look kind of what data we currently have and how we're using data that we currently have. Is data that we currently have drive some action? Because when you look at the data, organization today create lots of data, but collecting data without using data becomes waste. So you have to think how we're going to do this. And for example, I usually, when I train my black belts, is really, I say kind of how many people in your organization go to manager and say, it looks that we can save 50,000 if we do this project. Just try to reflect to your day-to-day work, how many people go to managers. So organizations are looking for people who are going to create value for organization, as well people who are going to grow. And that's where organization is investing, and that's your responsibility. So it's not responsibility of organization like in the past, where they were spending a lot of money on the training. Those funds are usually kind of reduced. So you have to expose yourself. You have to show that investing in you is worth investment. And this is a model of digital cost of quality. So A and B is where Lean and Six Sigma are. So you go, and EBIT is a fancy word for profit. So you go with the cost of quality, which is a prevention, appraisal, internal failure, and external failure. And by doing our Lean and Six Sigma project, we're able to increase our EBIT by reducing our cost of quality. Now, what's happening with the digital transformation? Suddenly you have data, and one of the main reasons why Lean Six Sigma project fail is a lack of data, and second reason is a change management. So with the digital transformation projects, change management stays as a big issue. And if you have not received any training related to emotional intelligence, to change management, to understanding first yourself, because when we talk about people, there is a triangle of behavior and then feelings or emotions, and then what your thinking is. And that circle reinforces itself. And that's how we create our mental models, our values, our beliefs. And by being aware of your feelings, that put you in position that you can start to connect with other people and start to understand their feelings as well. Because that's a prerequisite to establish rapport between you and your team, which is foundation for building trust. And rapport is that initial connection between team members or people who work together, versus trust is a building consistent performance and meeting expectation over a long period of time. When you have those two elements, you become leader within organization. So you're not going to become leader by having a data science degree or quality degree. You have to have technical knowledge and you have to have soft skills. And that's the reason why we have issues in Equality 3, and that becomes even more prominent in Equality 4. But with Equality 4, suddenly you can do lots of more automatization and visibility and enhance your problem solving. Because if you have all data and you're good with the change management, organizations start to accelerate much faster. And that brings us to digital innovation. And when I say digital innovation, data have a value. Data is the same as material that we have in a quality tree. So we still need the material kind of flow and work on material, but data are driver of the value. If you look at your Apple phone, for example, your Apple phone physical parts, value of those physical parts, if your Apple phone is $800, value of physical parts is maybe $100. The rest is the knowledge, data, and the solutions that you create for using data. And that makes our day-to-day real-life material production easier, faster, more effective. So this is really where opportunity is. This is where many organizations are going to disappear, probably within 5 to 10 years. And this is where some new organizations are going to appear. Last year at the ASQ World Conference, key speaker mentioned something, and it was so profound. He said, "You're not going to be replaced by ChatGPT. You're going to be replaced by people who know how to use ChatGPT." So this is why you have to start to build your career and going step at a time. When we look what are tools which you can start to explore, many organizations are putting workflows. You have ERP systems which are managing the material and everything else, but managing much more. All those systems are starting to compete and become solution for everything. But really, you have a workflow and process management. This is pure Lean Six Sigma. Your process thinking, how you do different things. And now you start to have information about different instances. I don't have a time to talk about data process mining, but you start to see your process. You start to see where the issues are. Next element, once when you have a workflow, next element of maturity from that workflow different elements of work, they start to be automated. And that's what we call robotic process automatization. So if you're pulling one file and then you do some calculation of 5 fields and then you send that file to somebody else from that workflow that I show in a previous slide, this can be automated. So if there are steps which don't require human thinking and adding value that people are doing, that can be automated. However, in order to do automatization, you have to have a Lean Six Sigma project. You start with the business analysis, and you don't automate it something what has a waste. You have to understand how process is done. You have to do Lean Six Sigma project, and this is really where opportunity for quality professionals are, because we should be familiar with the processes. So when we talk about the data quality, that's another field that you can start to look. And this is from ASQ site. One of the best known definition of data quality is fitness for use for a specific purpose. So you have to think how I'm going to use my data and what's the value that my data are creating. This is what ISO 8000 is, and looking at the data quality. Now, if you look this on the left implementation, is plan, do, check, act. You have data quality planning, data quality control, data quality assurance, and data quality improvement. That's pretty much what we did with material. So it's the same thing. The only thing is we're not looking at the material thing. We're looking now at the data. So you're looking at requirements management, data quality strategy management, data quality policy standard management, and data quality implementation. That's planning. And then you have data quality control. You have a measures related to data quality. You have specification for data. You have a work instruction. You have how data are processed and prepared, and how you monitor data quality, like SPC. So now you have SPC for data rather than to have SPC for certain characteristic. And then you have data quality assurance. You have kind of advanced quality planning. What we have in automotive, we look at the requirements management, data quality strategy management, data quality policy, and data implementation management. And finally, you have quality improvement. So Six Sigma is moving there, Lean Six Sigma, provision of data specification, work instruction, data processing, data quality monitoring. And then you have supporting activities where you look at the data architecture management. So there is a data and then there is a metadata. And metadata is data about your data. And then you have data transfer management. When you transfer data from different databases or from data lakes, you're kind of using for different types of data, you use different types of storage, and how that data is connected and make that data available for problems that you are looking. Then you have data operations management and data security management. And finally, resource provisioning, you have data quality organization management and human resource management. So if you look at this, there is a model which is called SIRI, which is developed by Singapore Chamber of Commerce, and I had the opportunity to look at that. It's developed by help of World Economic Forum, and it's very simple model, which really kind of look at the all elements like a processes, human side of organization maturity, and so on. So if you look at ISO 8000, it's something that you're already familiar. And then you have to understand data science. And when we look, majority of organizations are level 2, level 3. When you look at descriptive analytics, what happened, that's pretty much kind of your histograms, your run chart, SPC. We all have that. Then you look at diagnostic analysis. It's why it happened. It can be a regression, ANOVA. So it can be logistic regression, hypothesis testing, different tools that we already use. So we are in advantage to some people who are just starting. As a quality professionals, we already know normal distribution, control limits, control charts, and so on. And even portion of that predictive analytics, which is proactive, is looking at multiple regression or logistic regression. We're almost there, kind of, I would say 30%. And then there is optimization and prescriptive analytics. And now you're starting to get into data mining. And then you're moving in cognitive self-learning analytics, which is artificial intelligence and machine learning. My point here is that you are already 50% on this journey, and you don't need to be far ahead where your organization, your current organization is currently is, or organization where you would like to move is. So you have to be good enough to be competitive and have a skills to be applied in your current organization or lead transformation in your current organization or some other organization that you're joining. Now, everybody is familiar with the MAC roadmap, and why I have it here, just kind of to look through define, measure, analyze, improve, and control, to look at something that we call CRISP model, which is a data science model. So it's the first business understanding. We as a quality professional understand business. So determine business objective, assess situation, determine data mining goals, and produce plan. So we all know that. Then you have data understanding. Collect initial data, describe data, that's descriptive statistics, histogram, explore data, and verify data quality. We know all that. And then you select data, clean data. This is outliers that you can have in the data, construct data, integrate data, and format data. We all have that. What is new in a classical quality engineering, we use regression and ANOVA, and you here build the different modeling techniques which are available through the software solution. You can use a K-cluster means, hierarchical tree, neural network, to name just few. And then you evaluate results. So when we evaluate results, we use ROC curve, which is part of logistic regression, R-square, same measures that we already use as a quality professionals to measure quality of our model. Even if you don't know that, you can learn very quickly that. It's not hard as long as you have a good teacher. There's a lot of people who are teaching statistics who are expert in statistics, but they're not necessarily good teacher. And then deployment. You plan deployment, produce final report, and review project. And this is where our strength is. Our strength is in business understanding, deployment, data understanding, data preparation. The only element that I was scared 3 years ago is the modeling. And it's you have to trust me that it's not hard. Now, last element that I want just to mention is that many organizations are starting to do process mining. And what that means, you have your process where you start to collect that data. You have a different instrument. One of them is called Raspberry Pi, and you can buy that at Amazon for $25. It's really kind of transferring data from your PLC from end sources, transferring into your database, and that transfer as event log. And then you go through the different stages, and you have all information that you can use to analyze your process, because any deviation is captured there. So what was a problem in the past to collect data now becomes very low-cost solution, and this is really kind of easy to implement. And how it looks, just kind of, so you collect that data, and what computer will give you different path. You're going to have a major path that your products should go. This is what we've developed as our process map, but then you have all instances of any intervention if something going in a way, some rework going back and forth. And it's going to give you here on the right side kind of a Pareto chart where the main flow is and what are additional flows that you have, really kind of a rework paths that you have in organization. It's going to give you time step and the date stamp and who was involved with that. So it's very easy to apply Lean Six Sigma problem solving and go there. So reality, building infrastructure for this is very expensive, although what's happening now, many organizations are starting to pilot that in a small area and then connect those areas, and that's called mesh technology. Rather than going from enterprise big solution down, they go and solve different elements. So now what you should do, go simple, don't overkill yourself. Discover 2-3 technology, and I have a heat map here, but you don't need to have all technologies, all methods which are in existence. You learn about couple technologies and couple data science methods. And even if you go with the regression kind of, and then you look kind of what are activities that I or my team or certain department is doing, and start to think how I can connect this. And it's very simple. You don't need to go too complex. And then you start to look kind of, do I have a data? Which data are available and what we can do? And start to create that buzz. Start to talk with a couple people. There's some early adopters which will join you on this journey. And once when you understand this, then you say kind of, how about trying this? You start to look at the cost of quality and what will be return on investment, and you talk with the leadership team at your site and see if there is support. If not, then you make it smaller because you have to prove yourself and show value. And once when they build a trust in a whole transformation, sky is the limit. You're going to go exponentially. I have to tell you that curve of change and curve of learning is exponential curve. It's going very slowly. First 6 months, you're not going to see significant impact. It's like an exercise. If you start to exercise, you will not see impact right away. It's going to take some time to see impact. And then you build your roadmap and actions, and you join our data science interest group. If you want, here is the ASQ data science interest group at outlook.com. You send pretty much that you're interested, and I'll add you to distribution for invitation. If you want, you can link with me. Here is my contact information, and if you need any additional information about the data science, or you need some presenters or any help related to your career, feel free to contact me. So thank you for your patience. Lots of information. So now I'm open to questions.
We do have some questions, so let me get back to the earlier questions and let's see. Here's a question on how much of the available data that companies have is really useful for mining activities?
It depends. Reality is data cleaning take a big chunk, and even kind of if you look at manually collected data, we do gauge ANR, we do different things. It depends. You build the data cubes. The problem is my experience with some organizations which have a legacy systems, they sometimes store same data in 2 databases, and there is a difference. So that's the process. You have to look at what's the quality of your data. Start small. Again, you don't boil the ocean, because you have to learn, you have to build connection with IT department. In many cases, they're very protective. And once you build that connection and then build the connection with controller and finance and operation, you have to spend significant amount, and hardest effort is on building that change management and connection and building trust. And by learning that lingo, you start to talk their language. And the finance people have one language, IT people have another language, and operational people, they never have a time, and they speak a language of efficiency. So you have to find what is solution for them. But related to your question about data, it depends on case to case. You have to look what data you have and then check. You will find that maybe there's some missing information, but reality kind of if you're using big data, even if 50% of data is useless, you still have 50% of data.
There are a number of different comments and questions around Power BI. Could you comment on whether you feel that's a useful tool and how you could use it?
All my answers are it depends because it's a context based. So if you look at the maturity, all those tools, Power BI is pretty much similar like a Tableau. And what Power BI is taking bigger amount of data. So if you look what you can do with Excel, with Power BI, you can do much more. And it's used for something what we call business intelligence. What business intelligence is, mainly reporting what happened. Now kind of all those tools, Tableau and Power BI, they're moving into analytics as well and looking kind of why it happened and how it can be optimized. But main function of Power BI is to create a dashboard and communicate either with some delay or in a real time to communicate what's happening with your process, which drives some action on the side of management or people in operation and so on. It's very simple tool, really kind of, if you have, I would say kind of it's, I don't want to insult Microsoft, but if you look what you can do with pivot tables, it's a pivot tables on steroids. And maybe I'm oversimplifying, but it's pretty much same thing. You can create different types of very effective visual, which can drive action very quickly. Okay.
So how do you get management on board with investing in these tools? You know, sometimes you need something to be able to show them the value of it, and until you have that first case, you know, how do you get started with that to convince them that you need to look at this stuff?
Yeah, it's kind of, I have just to reflect. I have a different opinion than many people. Many people are complaining that management doesn't support quality or management doesn't support Lean Six Sigma. I think that we as a quality professionals have to make sure that we act in two dimensions. One is compliance, which I would say 99.99% of people in the quality do very effectively. And second one is value creation. And so compliance is value retention, and value creation is innovative new solutions. So show them value. Show them value, go to them and say kind of, and that enthusiasm is infectious. You're going to infect, because people like to create value. That makes them proud, that fulfill their need to be creative, to contribute. So start small. One of the things that you can fail is that if you overestimate your capability to do, start to do some analysis, start to look at data, start to dream, and it can have a lunch and learn and talk about the data, look at the cost of quality, or look if we have this data, how much value potentially and how we can move forward. And talk with your manager. They're going to reject maybe one second time, but my experience when I coach my black belts is don't overwhelm them with technical details. Show how you can use, even if you start with Excel and some data that you collect manually, show the graph that can create value and drive some action. And then say kind of, oh, if we would have that automated, you will have that available in real time. How much that cost? Well, it can be very simple because now cost to collect data becomes and transfer and store is very simple. And really kind of you can build application in Excel, which is pulling data from somewhere on the share folder, and it can be Mickey Mouse simple solution. But that's how you start. Start small, but show benefit, understand what's the need of your customers, and work on some solution. And there's so much now help that you can get on ChatGPT or YouTube that you can build any of those applications really kind of with very little effort. Now, it's going to be hard at the start, and that's why you join some group and ask people, and people are going to help. There is so much resources. You just need to jump. And like you're jumping in a cold swimming pool, it's a cold for 3-4 minutes, and then you swim, and you adjust, and then you swim like a fish. You're saying, holy moly, why I was scared. This is so easy. I hope that helps.
I had another question for you. We just have a couple minutes left. What tools help assess prescriptive and cognitive self-learning analytics?
There is a whole bunch of different tools. I'm not really expert in that area. I can find, if you want, you can send me email. I can find some information about that. But in reality, what I saw a couple application where tools like in operation, we have that visual inspection. The same thing is kind of, there is a facial expression where you can recognize people through the surveillance system who is who based on facial geometry. And then your facial, for example, muscles, there is a micro movement which can measure your emotions, your behavior, kind of what your emotions are. So that's one application, for example, and then you usually kind of use a different like a neural network kind of solutions. You need a complex tool. You cannot use, there are simple tools like hierarchical tree kind of for, I would say, stable, slow data, but here you have a neural network probably solutions, and I can be wrong. I haven't get there yet. Okay.
Yeah, great. How about one last question before we end? Is there a good tool you can suggest to help calculate the cost of poor quality?
It depends. With any other tool, what I would suggest is really kind of not to focus on tool. You have to think how I'm going to create value, which means how we're going to apply that. Usually, I have not seen any organization using on ongoing basis effectively cost of poor quality for many reasons. First is the cost to collect data and maintain that, although that should not be a key roadblock today. I usually use cost of quality to justify doing some project rather than just pure reporting. I have seen many organizations, they report performance and nobody's doing anything with that. So in that case, that becomes useless. It's kind of when I talk with my belts, when we talk about establishing tolerances and establishing control limits, it's if you have a control limits set in a way that you're have too many warnings, then nobody's it's really kind of like people saying wolf, wolf, wolf. Nobody reacts to that, and pretty much there is no action. So you have to think when it comes to cost of quality, whatever we report, how we're going to take action and create value. If organization is not ready to create value and take action, then investing in technology is a waste. I have seen people linking overall equipment efficiency to cost of quality. I have seen cost of quality tracking in pharma industry on deviations on different specific processes and applications. But again, it was more ad hoc rather than ongoing thing. I hope that's the answer to your question.
Great. I think that's all we have time for. So I want to thank you for the webinar. That was really great, really interesting. We've got a lot of good comments. This will be posted on YouTube, and you will be getting an email from me or one of my colleagues with the slides and your recertification credits.
Yeah.
And if you didn't get a chance to ask any questions, feel free to reach out to me via that email if you weren't able to write down any of these other emails. So
another thing is, I say, kind of you have kind of my I don't know, that square there, which should probably link to my LinkedIn if you want to link. And you have 2 emails where you can send if you have any additional questions. And most importantly, kind of if you want to join our ASQ Quality for Data Science Interest Group, it's easy to remember. It's ASQ Data Science DSIG@outlook.com. I created this email today, but because old email doesn't work anymore, so or you can directly send to me. I'll be glad to respond to any questions and hope to see you in our meetings. Thank you for listening presentation, and looking forward to join our Data Science Interest Group.
thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye.